friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're just going to be playing with some new makeup and talking about the birth of my second baby girl. So if you guys want to chill, do your makeup with me, try out some new things, some old favorites, all of the good stuff, then just keep watching. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. My name is KARENHARRIS. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on YouTube. Highly recommend subscribing, turning on that bell so you're notified every time I post. And without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, you guys, I actually have a baby on me. I am wearing her in my baby carrier, so hopefully she will be nice and calm. And big sister is at the library, so all my bases are covered for a little bit. I miss wearing makeup so much. You guys have no idea. I feel kind of, I don't want to say bad because I really enjoy this, but so many times you guys will leave me comments saying, Karen, make sure you're taking care of yourself. And I totally appreciate you guys saying that. It's so sweet. It's so kind. And I just want to let you guys know, just to put your mind at ease, that playing with makeup is one of my favorite things. I don't want to call it self-care because self-care is more than just doing like basic things, but I will say it just makes me like ridiculously happy. I still keep buying new makeup because I'm so inspired by it. I love it. Making videos is one of my favorite things to do. So it's a great way for me to kind of spend the little spare time I have right now just doing something for myself. So I love coming down here, and I know when I had the one, it was honestly a little bit easier because as tough as newborns are when it comes to, they don't always sleep through the night when they're fresh and new. So you are getting up quite often to feed them. But I also don't work outside of the home at the moment, and I haven't since my first daughter. Actually, since I was pregnant with my first daughter. I did have like small jobs. I work from home. I work for a little boutique and stuff like that. But I've had a pretty chill past 2 to 3 years. Other than being a mom, I really haven't had to worry about kind of getting outside of the house and getting to work, which is nice. Like, I work for myself. I'm my own boss. If I don't feel like filming, nobody's gonna yell at me, and those things come with their pluses and minuses as well. But anyway, listen, this video might not make any sense. There might be a lot of unwanted information. It's not really about the makeup, so you know, take it all with a grain of salt. Also, I do want to say I am wearing the Hourglass foundation. I have this Urban Decay Naked Skin concealer from like 2 or 3 iterations ago that I'm trying to pan, so I don't think you can buy that concealer anymore. And I've been trying to use my Charlotte Tilbury cream bronzer because that's an oldie but a goodie, and I haven't used it in a while, so I just felt the need to bring it back out in my collection. So it's in my Shop I Stash for June, and that is all the makeup I have on. You guys just watch me do my brows and put on my favorite eyeshadow primer from Sigma. So I have a bunch of newer-ish goodies to play with still, and I just bought so many blushes, and I have some eyeshadow palettes that I haven't used yet, so we're just gonna play. I was going back and forth between the Simply Posh palette and the new Oden's Eye palette, and I think I might put the Simply Posh in another video, but today I thought I would play with the Oden's Eye palette. It's this one called Stone and Rock. There's another one called Jewel and Something that I actually played with in the video that I featured the Oden's Eye collection in. My baby was very new at the time of that launch, so I didn't get a chance to play and do an eye look with this palette. I did swatch this palette, but I figured I want to play with it. And just yesterday I played with the new Natasha Denona Yucca palette. I did do 2 looks with this, and I'm so happy to have it. So I kind of want to use this one, but since I've already kind of tried it out, I figured let me go ahead and play with this. I always love to do green eye looks, and of course I want to have some thoughts about this palette. So let's go ahead and grab a Sigma brush. This is the one I used with the Natasha Denona palette. I'm just going to use it because it has a green on it. So this is the E24. And I'm going to go into the shade Cheer from Oden's Eye. I'm so excited because I haven't tried this. And when I compared it to the Yucca palette, well, I just compared it. I didn't actually swatch any shades next to each other or anything. I felt like this one wasn't that similar. But now that I'm looking at it again, I feel like there are a few shades. So let's see if I can create something similar to what I did with the Yucca palette. Honestly, I just did like side-by-side comparisons in that Yucca palette video. I wasn't saying that anything's a dupe or anything. I feel like these days people are so consumed with dupes. They're like, oh, there's a green in this palette, there's a green in that palette. They're dupes. It's not exactly how it works. I mean, I like to use the word comparisons. I like to compare. I think that, you know, we can't all buy all of the makeup. So if you want to just use something you have, that's totally understandable. The economy is just, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like everything is just getting so expensive. I don't know if it's just us, like my family, me and my husband, and the fact that we have 2 kids now instead of the 1, but you know, even we're trying to be careful. We, of course, when it was just him and I, we would just go out to eat all the time. We would buy all the groceries. We wouldn't like really pay attention to the price of things. And I'm like, oh, that sounds delicious. Let's buy it. Like we'd go to Costco and spend stupid money. And then when we had the 1, we would, again, still kind of act a little bit irresponsibly with money. And honestly, this is not us being irresponsible, but we just, being only children, we just bought our kids so many toys. Every time I went to Costco, of course, I love looking at books, which I don't think books are a way to waste money. I think books are amazing for your kid, but you know, you can't just buy everything either. So we've, you know, been trying to cut down on just like buying things like, especially me, I've been trying to cut down on buying things like spur of the moment. I will say, when it comes to my makeup, I definitely still have a long way to go with that. And I do keep my like YouTube money separate from like our family expenses. So I think that does give me a little bit more freedom, but you know, I need to be better too. I just felt like using the white shadow from the Oden's Eye palette. I don't know why, but I kind of love it. And it really helped pop the crease and the inner portion. So I think that looks kind of fun. Anyway, we were going to talk about baby and I just went on a freaking tangent about the economy. But I think what I was trying to say is like, I get it. We can't all buy everything even though we want to. And my gosh, sometimes I think I kind of do, especially with all these blushes that have been launching. It's been kind of chaotic, but in the best way. Anyway, all that aside, I had been giving you guys kind of updates about different things with the baby. I had kind of opened up and told you guys about how, you know, when we first found out, I was a little bit shocked. I wasn't expecting to get pregnant, so I was a little bit upset about it. Granted, I think that's totally normal, and I want to come out and say it on the internet because I think with different people, you know, some people have a harder time getting pregnant and things like that. So I want to be sensitive towards that, but also it doesn't mean that I wasn't shocked. With time, I was really excited, and of course, now that she's here, I'm like 10 times more excited because I never had a sibling, and seeing my daughter have a sibling and just seeing like how potentially they're gonna be bonded together for life, and they're always gonna have, hopefully, I don't want to say a best friend, and I don't want to romanticize them being siblings because I don't know, right? Like some people don't have great relationships with their siblings or family, so I totally understand that this could go in a variety of different ways, but my hope is that they will be lifelong friends, and it's just so fun because I feel like we're just like a unit now, you know, not that it felt incomplete with 3, but I feel like with 4, it's perfect. And there's 2 kids, 2 parents. We're not outnumbered. I did actually have my tubes taken out. I guess they don't tie them anymore. They take them out. I'm not a medical professional, obviously. So that's how I understood it, the way my doctor explained it to me. But I don't want any more unplanned kids. So I had my tubes taken out. I'm so excited. I feel like I had been on birth control for quite some time, and I don't really want to be on it. And I really had such a hard time with this last pregnancy that I felt like I was ready to be done. I didn't even know if I wanted kids. So the fact that I have 2, I'm like very content with that. And yeah, it's great. I'm so happy. Life is great. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about that whole situation and just give you guys an update. So I told you guys about my platelets being low, that I was worried because they were maybe not going to be able to give me I don't think it's called an epidural when you're having a planned C-section. I think it's called like a nerve block or something. So my doctor was kind of like mentally preparing me. He said if my platelets, I think their hospital standard is like 70. So he did a good job of letting me know like, hey, if it drops below this, you know, sometimes anesthesiologists get a little nervous. They're worried about your clotting. I did read online that you could drink pomegranate juice, and that was supposed to help with platelets. So I did get some. I do like the taste of pomegranates, but let me tell you, pomegranate juice is not that tasty. So I drank a little bit, but I don't think it did anything. Honestly, my platelets did drop the day of our C-section, but it was still fine. Anesthesiologist came and met with us, and he said he was comfortable giving me the, whatever it's called, like a spinal something block, okay? So we did that, and honestly, I was like so nervous. I was happy about the fact that I could be awake during the birth because I hadn't really had the most ideal experience with our first daughter because she ended up aspirating. So she just had to have like the NICU and stuff, and it was a whole journey with her. So I wanted to have the more standard birth with the second one where she could be put on my chest and my husband and I could hold her and stuff like that. So all of that was like swirling around my head. Anyway, me and my husband got to the hospital around noon, and we also ended up, I don't know if I talked about this, but we ended up hiring a nanny to watch our daughter that we already have. So that worked out honestly fabulously. I was so nervous about who was going to watch my kid, and I know I had talked to you guys about it, and like some of you guys had really helpful suggestions, but we actually ended up going with a nanny that had actually nannied for some of our friends. She had watched one of our best couple friends' daughter from pretty much like, I think she was like 1 or 2 months to like 4 months. So yeah, they had a couple of days where they had spent time together while me and my husband kind of went on little dates. And so we were pretty comfortable leaving her with the nanny. The nanny came kind of at around, it was like maybe like 10 o'clock in the morning to stay with our daughter. And then me and my husband left to the hospital. Since I was having a C-section, I couldn't eat or drink after 6 a.m. But anyway, I was trying to keep it really cool. If you know me in person, I try really hard to be chill, and I love to be that person that's like, everything's fine, everyone's fine. I'm so zen, and like my husband is like the opposite. He's very high strung. So I think like I try to put on like a brave face for him because he's very over the top. Like, love him to death, but he really is. Anyway, so I was trying to keep it really cool. Our nanny is also like a postpartum doula. So she's like, wow, you seem like really chill. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to like not be scared so that my husband doesn't also start panicking, you know, because being scared and then going into surgery is not going to help anyone. So I was trying to put on a brave face. So anyway, on the inside, I was a little bit nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, like the last time was so bad. And I also ended up having like a panic attack on the delivery table, and it was just rough. Like I just don't have the greatest memories of the first time I had a baby, which again, okay, I know people say this all the time, and I think it's so silly because I remember that feeling of not knowing if I wanted to have kids and like, how am I gonna get over the pain, and like, it's gonna be so bad, and all of those things, like 100% valid, right? But I swear, you could probably ask a majority of moms, at least in my case, like, you forget all that stuff. You do. You really, really do. And like, pain is so temporary, at least for me. Again, I know people have chronic pain. There's like obviously different kinds of pain. I can only speak on my experience, and I feel like I've forgotten all about it. And of course, I do remember like my legs swelling and stuff. There's like all this like surgery stuff, right? I don't like IVs. Like I was a kid that my parents had to like chase around the doctor's office to have me just get a blood draw. I have gotten a lot more used to needles now, obviously. I mean, I was in the hospital for like, what is it called? Sepsis last year. I think it was in August or something. So I've just like in the last couple of years, I've just had a lot of experiences with hospitals, and I've gotten very used to that sort of thing, which I would have never in a million years thought, because again, horrified of needles, just never really had a broken bone or any reason to really be hospitalized as a younger person, but that has changed now as an adult. So anyway, all of that aside, I had all of this stuff that I was like kind of like bottling up inside that I was nervous about with this birth, but the time came. And you know, those doctors and nurses, I will always say nurses are freaking angels on earth, because they have so much patience and care. And like, obviously it takes a special kind of person to be a nurse, because you're basically going to years and years of school, putting yourself in so much like debt, or maybe not debt, maybe, you know, you're paying for your college or whatever you're doing. Anyway, all of that aside, they're doing all of that. And then some days they're basically like a glorified, you know, I don't want to say servant in like a demeaning way, but like, you know, I've had nurses like help me just change my freaking pants. Like, you know, they just really go out of their way. And so I just have such a respect for nurses and doctors, but especially nurses, because I feel like they do everything. Like, they know the medical information, but they also just have to really help you physically sometimes when you're done with labor and all this gross, disgusting stuff that people that are like me that play with makeup, I know nothing about that. Anyway, all of that aside, they kind of just were like acting very competent, very chill, like really put my mind at ease, which was great because, again, like I said, I was trying really hard not to freak out. I had a panic attack the last time, so I just really wanted to not have to worry about me and just kind of not enjoy the process, but just be in the moment and not worry about anything else. So, you know, they took me in. I will say the OR is a very interesting place. You feel like you're in like a space capsule, but I think I'm going to play with this deer one. So anyway, where was I going with this story? Okay, so the OR is a very interesting place. It looks like you're in an alien like sci-fi movie. They kind of like wheel you in, and then they have to transfer you onto like, they call it a bed, but realistically it's kind of like a little plank. It's like a plank, and then it's kind of like a T-shape, so you like lay on it and your arms are out like this, and then they put a screen in front of you so you can't see like your guts. Basically. So I like remember this bed vividly from the last time, and you know, they like do this whole transfer thing, whatever, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, just keep it together, don't panic, everything's fine. And they're like talking to you about like your family and asking you questions. Like they were asking me about my daughter that I have, and they were asking me about like my husband, just to like distract you, you know. So I'm like, God, this is so dumb. Like I hate talking about this stuff, but you know, they're just trying to get through their work and just keep you distracted. So I get it. Like it's just part of the process, but this blush is beautiful. I will say, I don't know that it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything like this, but it's a pretty coral blush. So this is one of the new shades from Dior. This is a Rosy Glow in Cherry. It's pretty. I think it's like a corally red shade. So I've been dying to try that. I just wanted to say. Okay, so I haven't been really buying a lot of highlighters, but this Say one kind of looked like a highlighter, so I wonder if we could try it as a highlighter. It is the Say Glow Sculpt in Quartz Glow. I'm just gonna, it looks a little dark, but I've been using my friend Heather's Unearthly collab every time I've been wearing highlighters, so I kind of wanted to switch it up. That's pretty. Okay. It's like a Super Shock texture, I feel like. I haven't actually touched it, but I can kind of tell from the pan. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay. I thought it would make a really pretty glowy blush, but I love like a neutral blush sometimes too. I think it just looks so good with my complexion, so yeah, that's cute. I like both of those. Very fun. I really like how this makeup is looking. So anyway, they're like starting, Rel's with me, we're chilling, we're talking. You can't really feel pain, obviously, because you're numb, but you can definitely like, you can feel something, but it's not pain. So again, I was just focusing really hard on like trying not to panic. And then they put a screen over your head, like a TV monitor, and the camera's pointing at the little area that they bring your baby to after they get the baby out. So it did take a little while for the doctor to get her out, and she cried right away. And she, of course, had all of this dark hair. I was so happy. I just felt so relieved after she came out, and then they were like doing her thing, and my husband got to go over there and like cut the, well, my doctor cut the cord, but then my husband got to cut it again just so he could have that experience. And they brought her over so I could see her and things like that. And in the meantime, of course, my doctor's working on like stitching me back up and all of that good stuff. Gonna cover the baby from the setting spray. Oh my gosh, I've been really liking that setting spray. It's so pretty from Milk Makeup. And then like full circle moment, Milk Makeup sent me PR too, which I was like shook at by. But anyway, all of that is looking good. And then for lip, I've been loving this one from House Labs, but I kind of want to use the one I got from the Glamlite. Oh wait, I have this one too. I've been like wondering about this, like the Givenchy lip balm. So let's see. I bought this and I hadn't really used it. It's pretty, but it's not blowing my socks off. This is Rose Perfecto. It has a very light tint to it. So if you want like more opacity with this, you might want to pick up something else. But it's got like a light corally vibe to it. I'm just going to put on a little bit of the lipstick if I can find it. I'm trying hard not to move because I have a baby strapped to my chest, but I guess, maybe I have a different product somewhere. I got so much lip product. Ooh, I forgot about these. I haven't really, I'm just going to put a little bit of the Hourglass on top just to get color. Pretty. The Givenchy has a little bit of a minty vibe to it too, just so you guys know. And then I want to use the Glamlite gloss. This is from the Velma set from the Scooby-Doo and Glamlite collections. Makeup look is done. I need to throw on some mascara, but let me finish my story really quick. So baby was fine, everything was fine. They wheeled us over to recovery, and yeah, we just hung out there for a while. And I will say, and so many of you guys that have had C-sections, you know, multiple times told me this, and I knew it was probably true, but you know, it's different when you're experiencing everything for the first time. And so a lot of you said the second time C-section is a lot easier. I will say it's never really easy having a child, like the physical aspect of it, but it definitely helps you be more prepared the second time around. Like, I kind of knew what to expect. I knew the things that I had not done well the first time around. Like, I was not good at pain management. I just kind of ran myself ragged because our first daughter was in the NICU, and so we just had to do a lot of up and down. So I neglected myself a lot in that process. I wasn't taking my medication on time. They took my catheter out, and then I wasn't focusing on going to the bathroom. So my body like retained a lot of water and I swelled up, and then they had to like reinsert my catheter. Like, I went through a lot of stuff in that first pregnancy and delivery that I didn't need to. And so, yeah, it was just much more pleasant the second time around. I was staying on top of my medication. And so it really helped me, I think, heal faster. And it was just a much more relaxing experience at the hospital. We all got to stay in the same room this time, which was really nice because, again, with our first child, we did not get to do that. And so that was really comforting. We had visitors. Of course, our first daughter came to visit and she got to meet her sister. And so I think that was definitely a process for her because she is still adjusting to the fact that she's not an only child anymore, but she's a fabulous big sister. It is definitely hard with her being so young because she doesn't really understand things like being gentle and stuff with the baby, but I also don't really regret how things turned out because, again, they're going to be very close in age, so they will probably get a lot of enjoyment in each other as they grow up. So it's super fun. We're definitely still kind of learning and navigating, but I'm almost like a month out from the second one, and so far there's definitely days that are completely wild and crazy. But yeah, I think overall I don't know that I would change anything, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm just so happy that even though my parents have not made it yet to the US, and sorry, I got cut off, but I was basically saying that like my parents being here is just gonna be really nice because it would be nice for me and my husband to just have like breaks every once in a while because we don't really have any family that we can leave the girls with just yet. So it does make things a little bit more challenging as far as like us being spontaneous. Like, we can't do that as much anymore. I'm sure there's parents out there that make it work and they don't mind doing things like that, but for me, I'm not like a super planner, but also with kids it kind of does force you to be a little bit organized because, you know, you need diapers and things like that. You can't just like cowboy and just like write it out and see what happens. You know, you need to be a little more organized when you're dealing with such little ones. So it's all been a fun learning experience, but I just wanted to share with you guys my experience with having a second C-section, a planned C-section versus an unplanned one. And I think that a lot of people think that it's like this death sentence when you're like told like you need to have a C-section, but it's really not that bad. I think that's what really caused my panic attack the first time, but having it scheduled, knowing it was coming was really great. I also have, and I'm not trying to like pimp out my Amazon, but I do have some, you know, postpartum stuff that really helped me with my C-section recovery on my Amazon store. And I have these leggings, you guys, and like, I know it sounds crazy because they're $100, but they were recommended to me by somebody that's a mom of 3. And I was just so desperate. I bought them after the first baby, and they're so nice. They're these compression pants, and they just help me so much. So I'll try and link them for you guys because I do think they're definitely worth investing in. I also really love adult disposable underwear. That's all I wore in the hospital because the hospital like throwaway underwear and the pads are just like so big, but I just really enjoyed having the disposable underwear because you could just take it off and throw it away and put on a new pair. So that was nice. My scar, or like my incision, is healing up pretty nicely. This one looks a little different because it was a different doctor. So that's healing up. I'm going to have my 6-week exam. The girls have had their doctor's appointments. So yeah, we're all thriving. If you guys are first-time moms, or if you're like currently pregnant and you have any questions and I can help you put your mind at ease, let me know down in the comments, because you know, one thing I do wish I had was more resources, and obviously I don't know everything, but if there's something that you have a question about that I can help you out with, let me know. But yeah, I think that's it. I just kind of wanted to sit here and chat. I have not really talked too much about the baby or anything like that, honestly, because I already feel like I put too much out there with our first child. And obviously, like, I'm not this like big giant channel on YouTube, but I've been like learning more about family content and family vlogs, and not that I would ever change my focus to be a family channel or anything like that, but I do want to respect my kids' privacy, and if they're not old enough to tell me that they're okay with their pictures being online, then I'm okay with that. I don't need my channel to be about that. Not that I judge anyone that makes their channel about that, but it's just not my journey. So please don't ask like what my daughter's name is, or how much they weighed, or their birthday, or things like that. I don't really want to plan to put that out on the internet. Obviously, you know, if we talk, you would already know this information, and I think that's how I'm going to keep it. So I know you guys always like respect what I ask and my wishes, and I don't really have any like wild people in my comment section like most other YouTubers do. Although I did have somebody tell me that I should just start a GoFundMe, because I did share our registry online. And let's just talk about this for like 2 seconds, because I want to be petty. Okay, I had just said that here's our registry. I really want this. I know, overpriced. Not overpriced, but it's just an expensive stroller. I really want a Doona. I've been trying to get my husband on board to get a Doona, and he's not on board. He thinks I'm like being influenced by Instagram and YouTube and all these influencers. So he's like, no, we're not going to get a Doona. We don't need one. We already have a stroller, which has been working perfectly well. So anyway, I shared my registry, and I was like, honestly, we don't really need anything. But if you guys feel like you want to gift us something, please just do please feel free to contribute any amount to this particular item that's on our Amazon registry. And some unhinged human just went off, and it honestly gave me like a little sneak peek into what other YouTubers deal with in their comments. And I honestly just felt genuinely like, wow, some people cannot be happy for others. And I don't encounter people like that very often, or at all, really. And I just felt so sad for this person, because they kept going on about how I was like asking for donations. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know where you're from, but from what I know, in America, people have registries, and if people want to buy them something, that's totally fine. I'm not forcing anyone to donate or anything like that. I just wanted to share in case anybody wanted to get us something, that I really want this stroller, so just put money towards that. But oh my gosh, this person was very adamant that I was just like every kind of problem they could think of. Anyway, it was bananas. I was a little bit shocked. Anyway, thank you guys. I did see some of you contributed to the stroller. I don't know if I'm going to get it yet, because it is pricey, and like it's summertime. So right now I'm not suffering because I can get the strollers out and the kids aren't cold. The reason I wanted the Doona was for the winter time, to like make it easy to transition my daughter in and out of the car and stuff like that, especially with a toddler. Like, toddlers don't like follow instructions very well, so I wanted to be able to move quickly with the baby. So we'll see. I have until about August to decide on my Amazon registry, but I thought that was wild how unhinged that person was. So thank you for being nice to people on the internet. I mean, we're all people. Yes, we open ourselves up to a lot of harsh criticism being content creators, but at the end of the day, we're all just people. Anyway, this look is done. I need to throw on some mascara. I need to go find some earrings. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. Okay, friends, so here is the finished look. What do we think about this eye look from Oden's Eye and their Stone and Rock palette? I love it. I was thinking I was gonna do like a citrusy look because I was thinking of using the Simply Posh palette or the Natasha Denona Yucca palette, but I decided to try out the Oden's Eye Stone and Rock palette because, like I mentioned, this had launched right after I think I had baby, so I wasn't able to play with this one. I played with the more cool tone purpley palette, but oh my gosh, who is surprised? It is such amazing quality. The sparkles are beautiful. The mattes are beautiful. Oh my gosh, once my kids are a little older, I'm definitely going to make it a goal to try and do my eyeshadow and like do my makeup every day, even if I'm just staying at home. Right now, they're just so small. I have to constantly keep an eye on both of them. Otherwise, who knows what they'll get up to. But I feel like as soon as I can have like a little bit more downtime where they're either napping or they're in an activity, I'm going to try and like do more looks because I just feel like there's so many good eyeshadow palettes in the world and I just don't have enough time. Anyway, I love it. I love how everything looks. The blush looks very seamless. I loved that Say blush as a highlighter. I think that worked really well. This lip color turned out beautiful, although the Givenchy I feel like is a little bit overpriced for what it is. And I've just been buying so many lip masks this last couple of weeks. I need to like get it under control, but you guys will see that in my May haul and my June haul, so I will save that for then. But yeah, overall I really like this palette. I hope you guys enjoyed chatting and listening to me chat about our baby and just random thoughts that are in my head. So yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, a wonderful day, a wonderful just life wherever you are in the world. So thank you for watching and I will talk to you soon. Bye!